Hello, welcome to the I Live Truth podcast and channel. My name's Earl, and welcome. So today, I'm going to do my best to explain what blame is and how it differentiates from making aware or raising awareness. So if you're new here, make sure to bookmark ilivetruth.com and join the I Live Truth Telegram channel. That's where you'll be notified as soon as I post an episode. And the website has the streams at least a day early compared to YouTube. And I'll never post all of my videos or all my episodes on YouTube just because they are inappropriate sometimes. But anyway, just search I Live Truth on Telegram and bookmark ilivetruth.com. But with that, let's get started. So, what does it mean to blame? Well, the definition is something along the lines of to assign fault for, and but I'm going to use a few different examples. So, say you see somebody and their hair looks similar to mine. It's all messed up. It's crazy. It's not pretty, essentially. So blaming somebody would go like this. Your hair is always messy. Why don't you do it? And raising awareness would be something along the lines of, did you know that your hair is messy? And the two are different but similar. So also, blame usually implies or carries at least a hint of anger with it, and raising awareness does not. So another example would be like, you're always late. You're late. Why are you late? You chose not to leave early, you didn't account for traffic, yada yada. And raising awareness would be like, if you just left 10 minutes earlier, you might be on time, so you might want to look into doing that. And I think it's very important to differentiate between these two because one, it doesn't help to blaming is also a form of criticizing. It is criticizing. So most of the time, in general, if you want somebody to change, criticizing doesn't work unless they are very advanced psychologically and spiritually. It just it usually, when you blame or criticize somebody for something, in the Getting the Love You Want book, they describe the unconscious brain, like the automatic behavior, like the part of your brain that's responsible for your automatic behavior, essentially. So when somebody's blamed, typically they jump into defensive mode and counter criticism mode. So your hair's always messed up. You need to start taking care of it, And then a pretty common response would be something like along the lines of, your shirt's never tucked in, or something to shift the focus off of the person being blamed. And it's pretty difficult to get out of this loop, this circular logic. And I have a problem with it. I've had a problem with it for quite some time. Somebody points something out to me that is wrong with my behavior, and I would try to shift the blame off or shift the focus off. And I'm not saying that I don't do this currently, but I'm aware of it, and I can notice it sometimes. If you're unable to hear criticisms or observations about yourself from other people and take them with at least a grain of truth, a tiny bit of truth, then you are throwing away a potentially very good source of knowledge about yourself. And it took me a very long time to even consider this, and again, I'm not perfect. I still do have some issues with this, but I'm going to use my drinking, for example. My girlfriend stated to me one time that, she said something along the lines of, you should watch your drinking in front of your daughter. And I'm like, well, I only have one, or, you drink this type of coffee creamer, sugary coffee creamer. I immediately tried to shift the focus off of myself. I did a counter criticism and started justifying it, and it took me some time, maybe a few weeks, possibly even a month or two, I don't remember, but it took me some time to start giving value to that statement. Well, maybe she's right. Maybe I should stop drinking around my daughter. And the fact that I only had one beer, or sometimes two, it makes no difference. I could have been drinking a case of beer. The same would have applied. Me drinking in front of our daughter is normalizing it. So if I want her, or both of my kids, to not, if I tell them don't drink, it's bad, and then they see me drinking beer all the time, that it defies whatever I say. Your actions speak louder than your words, and if you're saying something and still, like if I said don't drink beer, yet I was drinking beer, I would be a hypocrite. And don't get me wrong, I sometimes still am, but this is a progress, this is a growing progress. I'm not perfect, but I don't want to be a hypocrite, and if you're being hypocritical to your kids or to anybody, they're just gonna not find any truth in what you're saying, and really it's just pointless for you to even say anything. So yeah, it's important not to be hypocritical. And but the whole basis for this story was that I was hearing something regularly, a criticism, and it took me a very long time to start considering that criticism was based in truth. It may have not been the most effective way to get me to stop drinking, or to realize that I needed to stop drinking. However, because I started considering that there was some value to the criticisms I was receiving, I started reflecting on my actions. And most people don't do this. This takes some growing, this takes some awareness, and for me it took prayer. Praying regularly, and I don't do it as much as I ought to do it anymore. I just started trying to do it more this last week, and but anyway, regular prayer helped essentially put a filter between my automatic behavior and my reaction. So typically before I started praying regularly, somebody would say a criticism to me, like the drinking example, and immediately I would just automatically react in counter criticism mode and defense mode. And with regular prayer, it really helped me. Like when I was praying, probably like a good 2 or 3 hours a day. I was just doing stuff at work, and I was like doing up boxes, and I would just do prayer. And whenever I was just doing a meaningless task at work, I would shift into prayer mode and say things like, Lord, please help me be aware of when you are working in my life. Lord, please help me with patience, strength, courage, yada yada. I would do that, and for a period of time there, I was very good, better than I had ever been at shutting off the automatic responses and having a chance to analyze what was said and then react in a non-defensive way. Not completely non-defensive, but way less defensive than I had before the regular prayer, and also the notion that I found any truth in the criticisms that were being said of me. So again, I'm not perfect, and I've really backslid in this situation, this awareness, but there's still a little bit of progress from before I started. So anyway, the purpose of this episode is to just try and help people understand the difference between making somebody aware of something and blaming them. And blaming doesn't work. And also, the person, if you're blaming somebody, you're generally resisting or rejecting whatever was said about you. So if someone has a criticism, or if somebody brings something to you in order to raise your awareness, and then you start reacting automatically and you go into counter criticism mode and start blaming somebody, no progress will be made. In fact, it'll just build more resentment and more resistance. It's not helpful to feel like somebody is just it isn't helpful in a situation to feel as if you're just being blamed for everything, and it just doesn't help. I don't know how else to say it, but it inhibits growth and actually fosters decay. It's not possible for people who are in a state of resistance or the blame game to grow. It just does not work. And with that, I mean, ultimately, if you're in a relationship or anything, the goal should be cohesion, togetherness, to be at a point where you can support each other. And people who support each other, true love, biblical love here, I'm not talking about just emotional love, Hallmark love, or Disney love. It's when you support each other perfectly, essentially, where you're trying to help the person, you're trying to ultimately do what is best for them, to make their life easier, to reduce stress, to make happy, to support. And you don't need to defend against somebody you love, and this is not normal behavior. This is not typical behavior, I should say. So in this day and age, I think most people defend automatically and feel as if they are at war, at least subconsciously, with the people they allegedly love. So, why would you want to fight or attack or feel like you're not able to grow and support the people who you love? We should be ultimately trying to help the people we love, not fighting. If you have differing opinions or views on something, you don't have to agree on everything, but you do need to be able to, especially in a loving relationship like a man and a woman, you need to be able to hear what your partner is saying and at least consider their point of view to be true, And again, I have this problem, I'm not great at this, but I'm willing to work on it. I want to work on it. And it needs to happen in order to reach a state of love, pure love, great biblical love. You have to be able to value what your partner is saying. Even if you don't agree with it, you have to at least entertain it. You know what I mean? You can't just be in a state of complete resistance to everything because it differs from your opinion or view. This just not, it will never work. It can't work. But the goal ultimately, again, is to reach a point of cohesion where you value what your partner's saying and at least attempt to see it from their point of view. And this is just a huge problem in our society in general. I remember when, I barely remember, I'm 33 years old, but when I was younger, people would remain friends with differing point of views. They would just not talk about that subject. Or if they did, they could stay connected and disagree. And now it's like so many people's relationships and friendships and marriages are failing just because you don't agree on a particular topic. You're never going to agree with everybody or anybody on everything. And if you do, that would just be like an echo chamber. That would not be pleasant. You need to experience chaos in order to experience love. Just like hot and cold, happiness and sadness. There has to be that variation in order to value something different. So if you never know what it's like for something to be difficult, then you can't enjoy when something's easy. Like marriages. People seem to believe that you're supposed to just find somebody, have all these wonderful feelings of love, the butterflies in your stomach, just completely fall for this person, and then your life's supposed to be just happily ever after. That's what people seem to believe. But in reality, marriage takes work, relationships take work, and you can't have a strong bond unless you get through the roughness, the difficulty. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, out of the rubble, build a great tower. That is my goal. And if you can do that, if you can successfully get through the hard times and reach a point of happiness, that would be the greatest display of triumph, of love possible. And if you can't get through the difficult times, then you can't reach happiness. You may experience happiness initially until the honeymoon phase wears off in a relationship. But with anything, like learning a new skill, like guitar, for example, you have to go through some pain. Just running your fingers along the neck of the guitar, it hurts. The strings are metal, they cut your fingers. But once you build calluses, you really feel like you accomplished something. Getting through that struggle is part of it's most of the game. And I think for parents, it's extremely important to teach your kids that out of struggle comes greatness. You have to continue working. You have to put one foot forward in front of the other, and you have to make an honest and consistent effort to stay vigilant. You have to, in order to build anything. So with that, I don't really have anything else to say. I wanted this to be sort of short today, but if you enjoyed what I talked about here, if you find it valuable, then like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure you bookmark ilivetruth.com and join the Telegram channel, ilivetruth, t.me/ilivetruth. And if you want to see more of this and you want to support me on this journey of truth and goodness, then consider donating. There's a form at ilivetruth.com. The monthly donations would be fantastic. If not, then a single donation would be great too. And if you can't or don't want to donate, support financially, then just share this and subscribe. So, and be good, try to be good. My goal with this is ultimately to help give people resources, to give the next generation resources to reach goodness, to be good, to create a good future for my children. So with that, I hope everyone's having a good day, and let's get through these struggles. Let's work at building greatness. So with that, I'm out, everyone.